So a couple forms that we might see. The linear function, slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. In standard form, ax plus by equals c. The rules there are a, b, and c have to be integers, so no decimals or fractions. A is positive, and they don't have a great sum factor. In this y equals mx plus b, what is m? Slope. What does b represent? The y-intercept. What is slope? What does that mean? Rise over run. It's like how steep our line is. How do you find it if you have two ordered pairs?
Oh yeah,
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Because it's rise over run, so the y's are on top, x's are on the bottom. Another word for slope is average rate of change, so you might hear it called that. So, in case you need to jot any of this down, if you had forgotten anything, slope is just telling us how steep our line is, so a bigger slope is a steeper line. We can find it rise over run if we're looking at a graph, or from the ordered pairs. What's the slope of a horizontal line? 0. What about a vertical line? How to graph lines. Okay. Unfortunately, you are all grown up now, so I don't print graph paper for you anymore. So you have to draw your own graphs. Life just became rough. Sorry. But if I asked you to graph f of x equals negative 3x plus 7. F of x is just another phrase for what variable? Y. So that's just like saying y equals negative 3x plus 7. So y equals mx plus b. Where do you start when you graph that? Start at the y-intercept, the 7. So that's where I hit the y-axis. And then my slope is negative 3. So how do we graph that? Make sure we are starting to get into some graphing stuff now. So, I mean just lines for the moment, but on a test, do you have a graphing calculator or Desmos? No. So let's try to not use them for things right now. Obviously you can use it to check, but I don't want you to just rely on that. I want to make sure you guys understand as we start moving through the graphs in the coming sections. So, we know our line, we have 2 points. Just when you draw your line, make sure you are putting arrows on the end. I always have people that just try to connect their 2 dots and pretend it stops and keeps going in both directions. All right, what is the domain of this line? And what about the range? All right. What if I gave you this one? 4x plus 5 equals negative 3. What do you notice about that? It's not in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. So normally the first thing you do is rewrite it so it's y equals mx plus b. Can I do that? No, there's no y. Let's go ahead and just solve for x then. If I subtract my 5, I get 4x equals negative 8. Divide, so x equals negative 2. What does that mean? If it's x equals, it's a special line. That is your vertical line. So if it's just x equals a number, that's a vertical line at negative 2. What is the domain of that? Negative 2. We only hit one value. Since it's just a single value, we can't do interval, so we just do our solution set. My domain is just the negative 2. What is my range? Negative infinity, positive infinity. We hit all y values. Let's try one more. What if I said f of x equals negative 3? It's a horizontal line. F of x is like y. There's no x. In order to be a slanted line, you have to have x and y. So if it's just one variable, if it's x equals, it's vertical, y equals, it's horizontal. So we have a horizontal line of negative 3. What's the domain of that? All x's, but my range is just the negative. All right. Do we need more of a refresher on graphing lines? Do you have to have the equation to graph a line? Like if I just give you a point and a slope, can you graph it from that? Yeah. What would you do first? Plot your point, and then from there count your slope, your rise over run. Do we need an example like that? No? You guys can follow that? Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is slope. So we'll do just a couple examples. If I ask you to find slope between 2 points. So this is like my x1, y1, x2, y2. So slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus negative 2. So we have negative 10 over 4. What does that reduce to? Negative 5/2. All right, you guys do B. Find the slope between those 2 points. x2 minus y1 over x2 minus negative 3. So we get 0 over 8, but we shouldn't leave it that way. What is 0 divided by 8? 0. When does it turn out to be undefined? If 0 is on the bottom. If it were 8 over 0, that would be undefined. If it's 0 on top, it just turns into a 0. What kind of line is this? Horizontal line. Good. All right, do we need more problems like that? Then I also told you that slope is average rate of change. So let's try an average rate of change problem. In 2006, about 60 billion text messages were sent in the United States. During the next 6 years, text messaging increased on average by 407 billion messages per year. Find the average rate of change. So average rate of change means what? Slope. Okay, did I tell you the slope in this problem? I think I did. What is it? 407 billion per year. You'll know because your unit is something per something. That tells us it's a rate of change. When you are finding an average rate of change, units are important, so we wouldn't want to just say 407. We're explaining what that means. It's a positive, so that means it's going up. It's increasing by 407 billion every year. So if I gave us this one, in 2011, online sales on Thanksgiving Day were 479 million. And in 2016, these sales reached $1,287 million. Find and interpret the average rate of change. So average rate of change means slope. Did I just give you the slope this time? No. So I need 2 points so that I can find it. What would my first order pair be? And my second point? y2 minus y1 for x2 minus x1. You guys get 161.6? What would our units be here? If we look back, the 1,287 and the 479, what were those? $1 million, right? Okay, 2016, 2011, what are those? So this is $1 million, or you could just put the dollar sign on it, per year. Or in other words, it means sales increase because it's positive. 161.6 million each year. So rate of change is just another word for slope, but we do expect those units. And we can think of it as just y over x. What were the units on y? Per, what were the units on x? Okay. Any questions? Do we need more practice over anything? So I have an assignment for you. We've got quite a bit of time. It looks long, but don't freak out. It's like 25 questions, but I think 16 of them are matching questions in 3 different parts. So most of them, there's only like 9 questions that require